Hello, hello. It's JJ DiGeronimo, and I am here today with Lou Valentino. I have been waiting for this conversation.
So
I've
have I,
been
and
waiting.
I'm so thankful that you're having me on your show. Really look.
Well, for many of us, the energy around us is shifting. I think everybody can see it in every aspect of their life. But Lou and I have been having this conversation for months now. We had a really in-depth session last week, and I partaked in some of the courses and alignments and wisdom that Lou has to share with the world. But today we are going to focus on Pleiadian energy, the Pleiadian messages, some of your work in your book, and also some of the contact that's ahead. So, Lou, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. God bless
I
you,
could,
and I look forward to this next 20 minutes or so, getting into some specifics about what could happen after UFO contact, because a lot of people are anxious, and I've been studying this for 40 years. I've been a regular practicing meditator for 46 years. So every day, twice a day, 20 minutes, I've been meditating and I've never stopped. So I never skipped a week or skipped a year and went back 46 years straight. I've been diving into this deep silence of bliss that's inside of us. And the yoga system is very good talking about santosha, contentment, samadhi, bliss consciousness, all these terms that they come up with, which describes this deeper sense of rest than what our deep sleep cycle can provide. So basically, in a nutshell, I'm just going here with information, but the yogis in India basically are saying that if you can put your body into a deeper state of rest than what your deep sleep cycle can provide, then you start releasing your inner pharmacy of chemicals that give you this experience of bliss, dopamine, serotonin, melatonin, all those things. And that's kind of the foundation chemically for this high that we get, this sense of contentment that we are all seeking. Inner fulfillment is what all human beings on this planet, regardless of what country you live in or what color your skin is or whatever, or what your sexual preferences is, all this stuff is secondary compared to the idea that we, in common, in unity, we all want to feel fulfilled in life. We all want our children to grow up in a safe environment. So that's my introduction. I don't know if you wanted me to go into any more details about me. I'd rather talk about more knowledge than my bio. My bio is on my website. So if people want to know my biography, where I've been and what teachers I've studied with, they can go to the bio.
Love that, Lou. I love that, Lou. And yes, definitely visit his links below. Everything's there. But I want to dive into some of the Palladian work you're doing because this is not a conversation I can have with a lot of people. And I definitely believe that I'm part of the Palladian system. As you know, we had a Starseed event a couple of weeks ago. But, I want to honor the message of finding that inner wisdom because so many of us live outside our bodies for most of our day, most of our existence, and creating that space where you know how to tap into the inner wisdom, where you can create space to be quiet enough to get into the wisdom within is so powerful. So, I don't want to overlook that because I feel like for many of us, that is the first step of us really awakening to the gifts that we came down with.
Mm.
And
And
I
if I may, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if I may give a quote, this is right in alignment with what you're saying, by Eckhart Tolle. Okay, this quote says, this is one of my favorite ones: "The power is in you, the answer is in you, and you are the answer to all your searches. You are the goal. You are the answer. It's never outside." He says it's never out, because the reason why I'm saying that is we have all these YouTube stuff, podcasts going on, and there's so much information, especially about extraterrestrials now, and it's gotten so far out there that what I just said, that Eckhart Tolle I agree with, is that we need to find our inner presence, the power of now, to be still so that we can be. This is why Atlantis destroyed Lemuria. Lemuria was the mother of Atlantis. She was there before Atlantis was. This was about 26,000 years ago that Atlantis destroyed Lemuria. Why? Because they got into the technology, they got into the excitement, they got into the crystals, they got into everything else but centering themselves. They lost that center. And therefore, they became more power-driven, egotistical, and they wanted to overpower Lemuria and ended up destroying their own mother. I mean, that was the mother that gave birth to Atlantis. So we don't want to do that again, is my point. That's my message here. We want to be able to have a relationship with silence and bliss, the stillness of going out and, looking at Mother Nature. The trees are so still. That's a great meditation technique, by the way. There's a lot of meditation techniques out there, but just to be able to look at a tree, sit for a little while, maybe if you can only do 5 minutes, that's fine, but just enough to say, wow, that tree isn't moving. Only the wind moves the leaves, but it's so centered and still. And that is the foundation to building a successful spiritual new age that we'd like to have come in. So I don't know. I hope that ties into what you were saying. I didn't mean to cut you off. We only got 20 minutes.
I know we're going to have to continue this discussion. There's no way we can get through everything we want to talk about. So you and I are going to have to find another day next week or the week after where we pick this back up, because I agree with you. I think right now it's such a great message for the planet because media is helpful, right? I'm totally for the media because it uncovers things and creates discussions and exposes and highlights and honors and all these great things, but it's on all the time. And if you allow the external world to fill your mind with what you should think about, you will never find the space or the awareness or the ability to tap into more of your gifts if you don't create the space to be quiet, to sit like the tree, to sit near a tree, to really dive within. And I think so many of us right now are struggling because we've let the external energies drive our emotions. We've let the external energies drive our just trajectory in a lot of ways. And I feel like we are the only ones that can stop that train.
Absolutely. So there you go. I mean, you're an author. I can see it in you as a, this is what light workers are. When you hear the word light workers or star seeds, we're the ones that are trying to bring in this new energy of stability and balance in the laws of nature. And so you have authored, I think, 3 books at this point, at J.J. DiGeronimo. And you've done lectures and you're empowering women, which is so important right now. We have one of the biggest problems, not the only one, but one of the biggest problems we have is women coming forward and feeling empowered. All the ancient traditions, when they were in balance, even in India, with the holy tradition, the Vedic tradition of India, men and women were working together in balance. It was not patriarchal. And so God bless you for stepping forward with courage and confidence and sharing and getting these, the podcast and the books and this is all hard work. And so I'm just saying, we're all very thankful to have a leader like you that is helping other leaders like myself, and we're not perfect. We know that, we're flawed like everybody. We're in a flesh body, and so, but the gifts of insight, wisdom, and discernment are what the star seeds have that other people don't have. It's not that we're better than anybody else. We're not. But it's just that we have this extra insight, wisdom, and discernment where we can not as easily be manipulated by the outside world, even though sometimes we are. But, we're not as easily fooled by the excitement and the magic that, like you were just saying, the media has, or whatever else. I mean, interestingly enough, you could turn the news on like every 3 days and pick up where you left off. It's kind of a loop that kind of, so that's what I would recommend for people if you really want to watch, the news and all that, do it like every other day or every third day, so you're not getting bombarded by a lot of information, overload of information in the senses.
I love that. I love that. Well, so I'd love to spend our time that we have talking about some of the messages you've received.
Pleiadians. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So before we jump into your book, The Full Moon Messages from the Pleiadians, I'd love to just level set. And if you could just share your description of what are the Pleiadians before we jump into some of the messages that you've been receiving.
Well, I was reading some stuff, even on the internet. I was, I'm going to be reading some stuff once in a while. And I was seeing here the Pleiadians, they were giving different groups. The Andromedians, I'm not sure, the Arcturians, the Orions, the Pleiadians, the Sirians. Pleiadians, they said, located in the constellation Taurus, the Pleiadian galaxies. These beings are extremely connected to the heart chakra and spread unconditional love. They are attracted to subjects related to spiritual study and soul healing. They have active creativity, love nature, and work together to promote unity among people. So I think that's a good description of the Pleiadians, but the Greeks called it the 7 main planets, the 7 sisters. So there is a goddess energy with it. See, we're too male here. The last 30,000 years since the fall of Lemuria, but really even before that, like 5,000 years before that, it was more balanced, and then it went patriarchal. So we have been a dominated male energy for a very long time. Women have experienced the longest period of slavery than any other species or any other culture or ethnic group on the planet. And we have to bring them forward. Now, the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party that's supposed to bring a woman forward, all right? But they've been throwing them under the bus. Hillary Clinton got thrown under the bus. And now there's another opportunity, if you haven't noticed. There's another opportunity coming up. So if we can get women more with men, working with men, and even in religious organizations especially, that would be a sign of the new age manifesting. So we're looking for signs as to what you can look for. But the Pleiadians are goddess energy. They want to bring the goddess energy, Shakti energy, to this planet to balance out this very extreme male energy that's going on. It's too male dominated, the energy here. And it's about competition and control. The Pleiadians do not encourage competition at all in any way, shape, or form. So, and in the upper worlds, they don't have any physical form of money. Okay, it's all light frequency waves. Aim is my soul twin brother from the Pleiadians. So here he is. This is a pit. Look how beautiful that is. See that? Now that's a picture.
Beautiful.
It's from the artist Andre Balog, who is a award-winning digital photographer. And at the time that I was doing the second edition of the book, which was in the fall of 2022, I wanted pictures, and then I just, how it works. You're on the internet, and all of a sudden you come across, oh my God, that's the picture. That's Aim. So Aim is the name that I've given to him, and him and I have been together. He is intimate to me, so I don't channel him and my voice changes and all that. I go to the computer and then I do automatic writing. So my fingers hit the keyboard and I go and tap into the collective consciousness of the planet and say, what do you want to ask Aim? So the book is a question answer format. And one of the first questions was, what's the new economy going to be like? Because I wanted to know what's going to happen after contact. We don't hear enough about, what is the new age? What are we moving into anyhow? So when we talked about the economy, they said that there's no physical form of money in the upper dimensions, the 5th dimension, all the way up to the 12th. 12 is the magic number. 12 disciples of Jesus, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 calendar months, 12 zodiac signs, 12 notes in the musical alphabet. So 12 is the number. Even though there are some channelers that would disagree with you, there's only 9, there's only 7. There's a lot of information. So go with your own, those beautiful, the wisdom, insight, and discernment that we have. Go within yourself and you decide what is best. You're going to hear a lot of stuff right now, but you won't agree with everything, And if 70% of my book, if the predictions become true, I would be a very happy person. Okay. So at least we get 70% of it. I'm not God. I don't know everything. I'm not, free will in the future. But the economy is going to be more of a barter system. The Aquarian age is working in small groups. Once the group grows beyond 100 people in any group, political, religious, it is susceptible to ego manipulations. Okay, we've seen this over and over again, that when groups get too big, the medical community, the American medicals, when things get too big, there is ego that infiltrate, meaning there's a dualistic kind of thing, right, wrong. We got the best meditation technique. We got this, we're doing that. There's all this best, who's got the best teaching, who's got the best gods, and this kind of duality, it needs to be minimized so that the family group, no more than 100, can fulfill the law of Christ, which is love your neighbor, your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So when that happens, there's a barter system. We barter. And we get further away from the international banking system of families because they're very quiet. Nobody really even knows their names. We're getting all our money over to them, the interest, but nobody even hardly knows who started this whole thing, So barter, but we're also combined with very advanced technologies. They're called Elohim consciousness light technologies. And in a higher realms, the 7th dimension up to the 12th, it gets more of what they call Merkaba craft, okay? Light craft, where they become light beings that very etheric, that merge together their energies to form a spaceship, rather than having it be more physical. But as we go into the 5th dimension, which is most of the channels out there agree, we're moving into the 5th dimension. So we're going into a semi-flesh, semi-etheric body, or what Lord Ashtar calls the molecular cellular shift. Okay, the molecular cellular shift. And one of the things that I wanted to say is we have a year left now. All this nonsense that's been going on for years, the big changes are coming. We have a year left, in my opinion, of cleaning out ourselves enough to accept what is coming. Okay. So like on your computer, for instance, it starts to slow down after a while, right? And it gets the browser, you downloaded too many things, you got too many cookies, you got all that. And then you go into the browsing history and you delete it to clean it out so that the computer can run better and normal. That's what spiritual techniques do. That's what holistic healthcare techniques do. I often say, and the Pleiadians would agree with me, that if the leaders in the fields of education, politics, religion, healthcare especially, if they would encourage their citizens to get more involved in holistic healthcare, the violence would subside, the wars would stop, okay? The stress that is built up in the collective consciousness tends to disrupt the laws of nature, tornadoes, earthquakes, fires, and all this stuff. It's Mother Nature saying, you're not handling your own downloading of your individual browser. You're not meditating enough. You're not interested in that. And so the stress builds up in the environment. And when it builds up in the environment, we have that. So in the upper worlds, the 5th dimension, all the way up to the 12th, they have a lot less problems because their service is to the great I am presence, which is God. Okay, I don't sometimes like to use the word God because it's been so misrepresented for so many years, very patriarchal kind of energy around the word God, okay? But they're saying that in the upper worlds, they learn through joy. They don't learn through suffering. Now, why is that? And when you think about that comment, right? The reason why they're learning through joy is because they are joy. They are bliss. They're blissed out all the time. And if they're blissed out all the time, they're learning their lessons a lot easier. It's not a big deal. They go through the same lessons we go through. Maybe they need to be less judgmental. Maybe they need to not hold on to a relationship too tightly. Maybe they need to be calmer in situations, not react too harshly. But because they're so blissed out, it's not a big deal to them. We take everything so personally because it's where we're trying to seek our fulfillment is in the objective world, in a relationship, in a job, in any kind of, some people have all these addictions in food, in money, in sex or whatever. We have a craving for that. They don't have that in the upper worlds. The upper worlds, everything happens, it comes together, and then it moves. So things are moving very quickly. The higher vibrate, moving very quickly. Here it's like, in a flesh body, we got the flesh bodies. And hey man, let's go smoke some pot. And, it's this foggy kind of slow moving energy. But as the consciousness goes up and the vibration goes up, things will move much more fastly. What we kind of accomplish in 100 years here, they can accomplish in a week up there.
Yes, yes. Well, it looks like we're going to have to get back together because I got one question and I have 7 I want to ask you. So I think this is a great first step in our conversation is how important it is to get into self, to start meditating, to start opening yourself up and recognizing that there's a lot of energy that you may or may not be tapping into that can definitely help you. So I'm hoping, Lou, you will join me the first week of August, and we can continue this discussion because there's so much I want to talk about that we didn't have time for in this session, but
I
I'm
know.
looking forward to it.
So May of 2025 to May of 2029, that's when we're going to have our first UFO major contact. That's my...
Okay, well, hold that. We're way ahead of ourselves. They don't even understand why we're talking about that. So hopefully they'll join us.
There are some people that will understand. They've been at it for a while. I just want to let them know that's the date, and we'll discuss in further conversations why I came up with those dates.
Yeah, so that's a great teaser that we definitely want to get into the UFO conversation next time. We want to talk about the Pleiadians more, but I think for all of us, the context of why was a great discussion today of why we're going through what we're going through, what we have to do, and what is ahead. So, Lou, thank you so much for joining, and will you join me back in August to continue this discussion?
Absolutely.
Well, let's plan on it.
All right.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you all again.
God bless you. Thank you so much.